This second session of the morning. I'm always alarmed when it says recording in process. So for those of you who are just joining us, we are recording the sessions, just so you know. I want to welcome everyone to the second session. I have a few housekeeping things to chat about, and then we're going to turn it right over to John because we want to maximize your time today. So first of all, again, welcome everyone. You'll notice that mics are muted and cameras are turned off. And this, of course, is because we want to give John as much time to share as possible today. If you're having difficulty, please reach out to our technical support volunteer. You can call at 780-809-9402 or email the events@mysage address if you're experiencing any issues. We do have limited capacity to respond, but we're going to help as fast and quickly as we can. Tori, who's helping with the tech support today, is going to put that contact information in the chat box for those of you who are joining us online. Some of our webinars are going to be recorded, including this one that's already started. And you'll be able to access those on the seniorsforum.ca website, as well as past sessions that we've had in previous forums from previous years. Finally, we are also offering a live caption for the webinars. So if you want the added support of having the words kind of go across the screen, there's a caption button at the bottom of your screen. Just click show caption and it should start to happen. And that's it for housekeeping. So I'm super happy to be able to introduce Dr. John Brown, who's going to be talking to you today about Garden Lofts, a new made-in-Alberta housing option that enables seniors and others with different abilities to continue living independently for a longer period of time. John Brown is a registered architect and one of the founding principals of Garden Loft, an Alberta-based company that delivers prefabricated backyard age-in-place living units to families with parents who can no longer live on their own, but don't want to move to a care facility. The units have advanced safety and support features that enable those with different physical and cognitive abilities to live independently. Their backyard location enables family members to conveniently provide as-needed support with cooking, cleaning, and companionship. John's a recognized authority on resident design and aging in community. He's also a professor of architecture and dean of the School of Architecture, Planning and Landscape at the University of Calgary. And his research collaboration with the University of Calgary's Cummings School of Medicine led to the development of Garden Loft. Garden Loft units are currently being installed in both Calgary and Edmonton. Now I'm going to pass it over to you, John.
Thank you very much. Can everybody see me and hear me? Great. So yeah, thank you very much for the introduction. I just want to start by acknowledging that I'm privileged to be living and working on the lands of the people of Treaty 7, which includes the Blackfoot Confederacy, the Tsuut'ina First Nation, and the Stoney Nakoda First Nations, and also that Calgary is home to Métis Nation of Region 3. I'm going to share my screen and run through a presentation on what we are doing, and then there'll be some time for questions. So if at any time you can't hear me or the slides aren't working, please let me know and I will I'll make some adjustments. I do have one video that I'm going to play that has audio, so if you can't hear that, please jump in and let me know. So as was noted, I've been a university researcher for 35 years. It's now 8 years doing age-in-place design. I did my PhD looking at that with the Cummings School of Medicine and Faculty of Nursing. And then I've also been an architect and builder in Calgary for the past 24 years with a company that I have with two other partners called Housebrand. Those are some of the projects that we have done. So just as a bit of context, all of you know that growing old is not a disease. Sometimes that's not understood by everybody who's younger, but that it's not a disease, it's an achievement. But growing old well takes a little bit more planning, and that's why and all of you on this call today know that, because that's why you're here. You want to take some time, think about what your options are, and make sure that you are prepared so that growing old can be a joyous experience and not a scary one. Ignoring the future, however, is not good planning, and as we all know. And the unfortunate reality is that too many seniors in Alberta are forced into care facilities before it's medically necessary because they didn't think ahead. And the first available bed became their only option. I'm here to say this doesn't have to be you. And obviously the fact that you're at a seniors housing forum means that you believe that it doesn't have to be you either. But we have this gap. We have the existing houses that we've all lived in for our lives. And then we have the care facility where most people do not want to go, but end up because of chronic disease, traumatic injury, mobility issues, isolation, mild dementia. And in fact, 1 in every 3 Canadian older adults will face this housing gap. And it might only be one issue. Perhaps you're having difficulty self-toileting or walking upstairs into your house, getting into a bathtub. Any of those small things could actually end up being having you located in some kind of care facility and away from family and friends. So we developed Garden Loft as assisted independent living. There's independent living in your traditional house. There's dependent living with the care facility, and we're offering assisted independent. And so we're trying to bridge that gap by enabling families to help their aging parents to continue to live independently with fractionalized services, as needed family support, and a specialized dwelling unit that that has support and safety features. So the Garden Loft, as was mentioned, is a prefabricated living unit with advanced safety and support features that can be temporarily placed in a family member's backyard. Temporary means that it's not permanent. It doesn't mean that it's not on wheels and it can't be just moved quickly, but it isn't, it is something that, 5 or 10 years from now, if you don't need it anymore, it's something that could be sold and moved. What we're doing is by having it located in the backyard, it creates a multi-family compound with a shared garden space. So you're only a few moments away, a few steps away from the main house and they from you, but it's this perfect combination of independence, privacy, and togetherness. So you are neighbors, not roommates, which we think is an important distinction. Everyone has their own private space, their own living accommodation, but then you can get together as often as you want, as appropriate to be able to spend time together, share meals, childcare, that sort of thing. And that close proximity is obviously convenient for family, making it easier to provide companionship and informal support. And we're all aware of the challenges in a busy modern life, trying to find the time to drive 20 minutes or half an hour to go and visit when somebody is in a care facility, and how much easier it is. And this sort of informal proximity and the ability for child support, child care, all of that is made possible from this. So I'm going to show you our first installation. This is the first time I presented this publicly. We have 5 units under construction. The first one's been delivered to a house in Acadia. You can see it on the right-hand side. It's corner lot. And here you can see the drone footage of it. In this particular example, it's a corner lot, and there was an existing parking pad right behind the house, off the corner street, off the side street. And so the owner of this house elected to turn the garden loft so that it faced the street and was more in line with the houses on a little further down the lane. And so that was the way this was done. You can see it here where there's the parking pad in the middle. This is one of those houses that doesn't really have a strong connection between indoors and outdoors in the main house. There's a few steps down that you can see on the right-hand side from the back door, but there isn't a patio door and patio and deck and all of that. It's really a more utilitarian backyard, and so it made sense to do that in this situation. You can see that this is our larger 480 square foot unit. It fits in, blends in very well with the existing community. We chose white trim, or the owner chose white trim and a color that matches. It's actually it's closer green color than that photograph shows. I'll show you in a second here. There's the windows at the front let in a tremendous amount of light. I'll show you the inside in a minute. And then there is a ramp on the side that brings people up to the deck. There you can see now that the color of the house is actually that darkish green color, and that it matches very closely matches we've matched the color of the garden loft. So we build every one of them to suit. It's a prefabricated shell. There are some options in terms of colors and finishes and door styles and floor finishes and paint colors and that and appliances that each person can make, pretty much like when you're buying a condominium unit. Here's the side view. This is the view here. The doors on the right-hand side are to the mechanical room behind the bathroom. This is the front of the unit. And then this is the entrance. Now that the front, I took the last photograph didn't have the door, the street number on it. This one does. So this is a registered secondary suite. It's legal. It is a permanent addition to the property, even though it can be moved removed at a later date without destroying the integrity of the original house. And so it can be rented out after the fact if desired. Here you can see the inside, looking out to the deck, how much light there is. The kitchen is on the right-hand side. There's a dining room space adjacent to the front windows, and then the living space is behind that. You can see now turning, there's that one window that looks out into the garden, and then there is a sliding glass wall behind the television that is frosted that separates the living room from the dining room. You can see that there. There's the doorway in. Through the doorway, you can see the closet or the dresser, and behind that, beyond that, the closet for the bedroom. I'll talk about the kitchen in a little bit more detail in a few minutes when we get to the video, but it has all of the appliances and is a fully working operating kitchen. Here's standing in the bedroom, looking back out through the living room, the kitchen on the right-hand side, out to the front deck, and you can see the frosting. When that frosted panel slides across, then it really is private, but you get that high window at the front, letting lots of natural light in. Here's the view standing on the other side of the bed, showing that connection. And then looking at the bed, so there's a queen size bed. The unit is fully accessible, wheelchair accessible, and I'll talk more about the safety features in a couple of minutes. Looking through, you can see the dresser that can also be replaced with a desk if it's something that you would like, and then beyond that into the bathroom. With a counter, a tall storage, and then an optional washer dryer at the back end. There you can see the bathroom. Behind me, there is a walk-in shower, a 0-step walk-in shower, and a toilet. I didn't take a photograph of those. And then looking down with the laundry. So we've taken the approach that aging well is a design challenge, and that our houses need to be able to support us as our needs change and our abilities decline, but we don't want it to look like a hospital. We want to provide those kinds of supports in a way that is as invisible as the glass or the correction in your eyeglasses. We don't think of our glasses as medical devices, and yet they are. We wear them on the face every day, but we don't think of them because we choose a style that is reflective of our personality and the way we want to be seen and the way we see ourselves, and the fact that it has a correction that helps us see better is completely an issue between us and our doctor and no one else. And so what we've tried to do as an architectural strategy is to provide that safety and support without sacrificing the look and feel of home. So I'm going to show you a very quick video where I demonstrate the various design safety features and support features within the house. I'm standing inside the 380 square foot show suite or the 380 square foot unit, which is a studio unit. And that's the smaller of the two units that we have. I'll show you floor plans of that in a couple of minutes. So you can listen to this handsome young fellow tell you about the safety and support features.
The second Garden Loft advantage is a supportive interior. The unit has over 23 safety and support features that will keep your aging parents safe and empower them to live independently for a longer period of time, even in the face of increasing physical and cognitive challenges. In this video, I'm going to show you some of these features and how they're seamlessly integrated into the design so as not to detract from the light-filled lofted interior. The result is that Garden Loft is a beautifully safe place to live. Our fall protection flooring reduces fall injury by 43% compared to a typical floor. It runs throughout the house, including the shower, to keep your mom and dad safe and to give you some peace of mind. This very functional tea towel rack is also a grab rail for those with mobility issues. They run throughout the house, including the bathroom, and there's even a motion-detected nightlight for extra safety. The height of the kitchen and bathroom counters can be fine-tuned to fit someone in a wheelchair, perching on a walker, and even someone like me who's tall and may have trouble bending over. The high contrast white knobs on this black cooktop are easy to see and simple to use. When connected to the smart home system, the electric cooktop can be set to automatically shut off if it is left alone too long. Motion-activated downlights near the bed and in the toe kick of the cabinets keep you safe when you get up at night and directs you to the bathroom without having to turn on overhead lights that can disrupt your night vision. The optional electric adjustable bed can be set for reading and watching TV or to give your legs a lift. It can even be raised high enough to change the sheets without having to bend down. One of the features that makes Garden Loft so special is a breath of fresh air. The bed headboard has a hidden cabinet for an oxygen concentrator, and the picture rail running along the sidewall doubles as a chase for concealing the oxygen tubing, and that helps reduce tripping hazards. The tall bedroom cabinet has low-set closet rods for those with limited range of movement, and the kitchen has an easy access pantry and waist-height microwave combi oven. One of the features that makes Garden Loft so special is right behind this sliding door. The bathroom is wheelchair accessible with a no-step shower, hands-free washlet toilet, mobility grab rails, cleverly disguised as towel bars, safety night lighting, lots of storage, and an adjustable height counter.
Okay, so in addition to all of those features, we also have a digital support system that runs off of the television. You can see a caricature on the left-hand side that helps you make video calls, connects you to an entertainment system. We have on the right-hand side, you can see our software program that allows you to join clubs, classes, events, participate in community activities with fellow Garden Lofters and your friends. You can, if you're a Garden Loft resident, you can invite your friends to be part of all of this. You can take classes, chair yoga, learn how to cook, learn a second language. There's coffee groups and book clubs, and as well as asynchronous entertainment options that you can also watch. We also connect that into fractionalized service management. So there are services for house cleaning and care and haircuts and podiatry that you can book with our app and paid for, much like Skip the Dishes, manage all of your appointments. We also have remote sensing so that there's a fall detection, that if you fall, there's a radar system that detects a fall or lack of motion if it's 10 o'clock in the morning and you haven't stirred from bed yet, and sends an alert to a family member that also connects into a series of 7 medical devices that monitor health. So pulse oximeter, blood pressure cuff, blood sugar, weigh scale, that sort of thing are all connected in as well. So really our value proposition is threefold. The first is you have a family location. So you're locating your garden loft where you're going to live near your family or friends, someone that you want to share your life with. So you have a cozy, light-filled home opening into a shared backyard. It gives the person living there companionship, and it's convenient for the family member. The second, as you saw in the video, is a supportive interior, design features that make independent living safer and easier. And that gives independence for the person that's living there and peace of mind for their family members. And then third, an engaging community. There's clubs and classes, reduce isolation, and external services are available as if and when needed. And they might only be needed if your family goes on vacation for 2 weeks and you need someone to help bring in the groceries or sweep the walks or provide some companionship. So you get purpose and belonging for the resident and help when needed for the family. So our goal is, our saying is your garden, our loft, aging in place, made simple. So we believe that it's time to take control of your future so that you can continue to live your life your way. And we do that by creating this micro community of companionship and mutual support. And I've talked about it as living in a garden loft in a family member's backyard where you can help out with the kids and maybe go over for dinner and go watch the game, and they can come over to see you. But it's also possible to live in a garden loft in a friend's backyard, and we're actually speaking with several couples who are one of them is able to continue living on their own, and the other has and their friends would come and live in their backyard. And mutually, they would be able to support each other. But also this idea of putting a garden loft in your own backyard and then renting out your larger house to a family where they would provide you with some support in return for a small break on the rent. And actually, that's actually the plan for the first garden loft sale that we had. The owner is going to be renting out her garden loft to another senior because she doesn't need it yet, but she's prepared. And then when the time comes that she could no longer live in her existing house, she'll move into her garden loft and then be able to rent out her house for a considerable amount of money to help support herself and to get that kind of support as needed. I'll say that as I mentioned, we've got 5 sales so far, 3 of them in Calgary, 2 of them in Edmonton. The first Edmonton project will be delivered in about a month's time. Our second unit will be delivered in Calgary next week. And units 3 and 4 will go to Edmonton. And then the 5th unit is back here. We're meeting with a number of other families looking at who are just in the process of going through the approval process and finalizing the design of things. So here are our 2 units. The GL 380 is 380 square feet. It's the unit starts at $210,000. And then the GL 480, which is the unit that I showed you that was built, is $240,000 with a 480 square foot. It's a 480 square foot studio. The site preparation, the installation of the services, the delivery, installation of the unit and GST are additional to that. Those are very dependent on the individual site characteristics, and so we aren't able to estimate those. We do offer a free feasibility analysis. If you send us your address, we will look to see if it's possible to place one of our units on a property and then give you a preliminary estimate on how much we think that it would cost to live in that. I'd say that aside from our first client, all the other 4 are moms and daughters who are planning to live together. In all of those situations, the mother is a widower, and so she's selling her existing house, taking the proceeds from that, taking a portion of those to pay for the purchase of the unit, and then using the balance of that to live, to help live. The family member is volunteering their backyard and covering the cost of the landscaping and the installation. And then, of course, when the unit is no longer needed, the ownership transfers to the family member, and it becomes part of the estate. And that person could then use it as a rental suite. They could use it as a living suite for another family member. They could, depending on their age, they might just want to keep it so that they have a place to age in place. But as I mentioned, because it's prefabricated, it's actually something that can be sold and moved, and we will be setting up a resale component in our on our website, where just like you can buy a new car or a used car through a dealer, you'll be able to buy a new Garden Loft or a used one on consignment. And so you'll be able to get a considerable amount of your investment back. Speaking of investments, let's look at that in comparison. And if we think about mortgaging, getting a mortgage on a Garden Loft improvement and how that compares at lodge level care and nursing level care, we can see that they're very comparably priced. So for lodge level care, we're assuming that the mortgage on the studio is either $2,100 or $2,500 a month. Add $125 for utilities, add an allowance of $425 a month for meals, $150 for activities, $100 for the technology component, and then your home care, which is provided by AHS at no cost. So that adds up to that level that you see on the left, which is very comparable with the average cost in Edmonton and Calgary for care facilities, according to the 2021 CMHC Seniors Housing Report done for Alberta for both studios and 1-bedroom accommodation. Now, what's lovely about this is that those costs can be reduced if the family member is able to participate with some of the meals or activities, cover the cost of utilities, that sort of thing. If we step up and we look at nursing home level care, which is basically at an SL2, potentially an SL3 level, still with home care, you're basically taking those same costs and adding $1,750 a month of an allowance for private care. Again, you get to decide how and when that gets used, and that again is very competitive to the median rents for a studio. And there are no, according to the CMLC Seniors Housing Report, 1-bedroom accommodation at a nursing home level. So of course, from a financial point of view, it's comparable. You get the additional benefits on the left-hand side with a Garden Loft. The first is, well, it's all about control. You have control of your meals. You're able to decide what you're eating and when you're eating, and in collaboration with your loved ones. You have complete control of your activities. You can join your own club. Our digital assistant provides all of that sort of connectivity with your friends through your television remote, so that you don't have to know how to use a laptop or a cell phone or an iPad. You can, on your big screen TV, you can have full video participation, private chats with friends, group chats with friends, but also then our clubs and courses and events. You also have complete control of your private care. You contract out, your own or using one of our recommended service providers. We vet everyone and you have the ability to rate them and to provide feedback, so that you're able to decide what you get and who is providing that care. Of course, you're not sitting in a room in a care facility with an unlocked door and people you don't know, eating in a congregate living situation. You have direct access to your garden. You have your own private space. You have a shared garden. You can look out. It's in a neighborhood, not in an institution, and there's immediate proximity to family and friends. It's also a future-proofed investment. As I mentioned before, you can, if you're moving, you can take your garden loft with you. You can repurpose your garden loft as a home studio or office. You can sell your garden loft privately as a standalone unit or as part of your home, or you can contract us to refurbish and resell your garden loft to one of our new clients. So that's it for my presentation. Once again, my name is John Brown. My phone number is up there. You can email me at info@gardenloft.ca. If you're interested in learning more, you can check out our website, gardenloft.ca. And we'll be posting pictures of our 480 square foot unit. Presently, we don't have any up at the moment, but all of the videos and all of that information is there. We'll be running a webinar in January where I'll go through this information. And if you're interested in a tour, if you ever are down in the Calgary area, I'm happy to do that. I can also do a video tour of either of the units with FaceTime. And as I said, we have a feasibility analysis that we provide free of charge if you're interested. So thank you very much for your time, and I will stop sharing my screen, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
That's awesome. I was just going to ask if you are able to answer a few questions. So just a note for people that everybody is muted, so you don't have the ability to verbally ask questions, but there is a Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. You can, for those of you who are joining us online, you can note your question in there. Unfortunately, people joining us by phone won't be able to do that, but John has provided that contact information. I'm sure he would welcome follow up that way. We do have a question, a couple of questions. So first of all, Gertrude would like to know how well it's insulated. What kind of heating system does it have?
Yes, very good question. So we have taken a lot of time and care in providing a super well-built, well-insulated housing unit. So it exceeds the building code requirements for new homes in Alberta. It is the heating system and the insulation is designed for Fort McMurray climatic conditions. And so it has high insulation in the ceiling, the walls, and the floor. It's actually, it has triple pane windows. It is not a tiny home. It is not a mobile home. It is not an ATCO trailer. It is not a double wide trailer, and it's not any of those things. It is not a trailer. It is a home that just happens to be quite small and has all of our safety and support features in it. It is possible with a slight change in the windows. I mentioned they're already triple pane, but if you upgrade them slightly to a European model, it becomes a passive house standard. We do have an option to add solar panels on the roof, in which case it would become net zero. Right now, there is an all-electric heating and cooling system, so it has heat and air conditioning. That is also rated for cold winters. We built a prototype unit in 2016, and it has gone through winters ever since then and been toasty warm in the winter and cool and lovely in the summer.
That's awesome. Thank you. Carol would like to know if there are tax implications for the homeowner.
Yes, there are. It's an improvement on the house. So there would be an increase in the tax paid on the property, similar to doing a $200,000 renovation to your house. How much that is depends on where you're living and both in terms of neighborhood and city and what your current property taxes are. So, but yes, you can ask if there was an improvement on your property of X amount of dollars, what would be the increase in the taxes? But there is an increase in taxes. Yes.
Okay, great. And Helen would like to know if you can provide a rough range estimate for installation and preparation
Yeah,
cost?
it ranges between $20,000 and maybe, $40,000. It really does depend so much on how difficult it is to move, whether you need a crane to lift it into place, whether it can be backed in, whether it sits on 8 piles, so screw piles, which are similar to the way in which you build a deck. So we need to install screw piles. We then dig a trench, a 4-foot deep trench that's insulated, that connects the services, the sewer and water services, back to the original house or to the city services. There's an electrical hookup. There might be some, there's a deck that's built and the ramp or stairs. And then there's also, in the other houses that we were doing, there was some landscaping that we were doing to connect them into the existing house. So it really depends on all of that, but all of those costs can be included in the financing, in a bank financing.
Okay, great. Gail wants to know if there's challenges in neighborhoods accepting these home additions.
Not so far, no. So both, and I got to say, Edmonton is miles ahead of Calgary. It has had a secondary suite, allowed secondary suites by right for a considerable amount of time. Calgary now has the same thing. It used to not be the case, but in the last 2 or 3 years, that has changed. So it is like any other secondary suite. It is something that one applies for with a development permit, and it goes through that process. We have had no problems. Both cities are very supportive of this because they see it as a way to help their seniors. This was developed as a pilot project with the age-friendly Calgary program, where it was a city initiative. They've been very, very helpful for all of this. If you remember when you saw the images, it's actually has a very low impact. A lot of people in neighborhoods are upset about secondary suites because they sit on top of a garage and there are windows that look into neighbors' houses. And a 2-story garage is a big thing. Ours is a 1-story. It's 10.5 feet high, so it's actually lower than the pitch of the top of most garage windows or garage roofs. The windows typically face into the property and face the existing house. So they actually have a very, very low impact on neighborhoods. And most people everybody that we've ever talked to has been very supportive of the idea of having these available for their seniors to live in. And as you see in the news, affordable housing, attainable housing is becoming such an issue across all cities in Canada that this idea of secondary suites is becoming much, much more mainstream. And so the rest of Canada is catching up to Edmonton.
Mm-hmm. That's great. So this is kind of related. Leslie wants to know if there are size restrictions with regard to building in a person's backyard.
Yeah, there are. It's complicated, which is why we offer a free feasibility analysis. So because it depends on the unit is narrower than a typical 1-car garage. If you think about that, a typical 1-car garage is about 16 feet wide. This is 14 feet wide. A typical garage is 22 feet deep. A 380 is 27 feet deep, so it's a little bit longer than that. But there are requirements in terms of side yard setbacks and backyard setbacks and distances from the house. All of the units that we've had have been in neighborhoods that have been built in the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s. They've been sort of typical kind of bungalow lots. You saw that one that I showed you is 100 feet, 120 feet long and 50 feet wide. There was no problem getting fitting any of those. Typically, if there's a 2-car garage on a 50-foot lot, there's about 25 feet left over. And so you just turn the unit, have it face into the house, and you've got 14 feet, you've got space on both sides. So it generally works. If you don't have a back alley and it's a cul-de-sac backyard, particularly if it's a pie-shaped lot, there's often lots of room in those. But that's why we offer the free feasibility analysis, because it's complex. And so if you're interested and you'd like to know a little bit more, if you send us your address, we'll look it up on Google Earth and we'll look at it on the city database, and we can do a quick sketch and show you which units would fit where and give you some idea of what that installation cost is.
That's awesome. Final question. Are permits allowed in places like Sherwood Park to place these units on existing lots? And can you place more than one on a lot?
You cannot place more than one on a lot. Not at this time, but you can place one. I do not know specifically about Sherwood Park. That would be something that we would have to investigate, but I'm pretty sure that those are allowed, but I can't say for certain.
Part of the feasibility, likely.
It's part of the feasibility, we just check. And that's also in other communities outside, municipal districts and small towns. We look at that, but we know in Edmonton and in Calgary that they're very, very supportive of this, and we've had no problems.
We have a last-minute entry from Carol who wants to know if pets are allowed.
Absolutely, it's your house. You can do whatever you want. And actually, that's it. That I should have mentioned that, because it came up at a webinar that we did where they were saying that pets are often not allowed in care facilities. Well, they're not allowed in care facilities.
Many, yeah.
And many of us. I'm a cat person. I've had dogs. It would be awful for me not to be able to take my pets with me. And so it's your house. You can decide what you would like to do. I will say that those up-down countertops, there underneath is a great place for a dog bed or a cat bed, and food and food dishes and all of that. And of course, you've also got a garden that you can just open the door. I mean, as long as your family agrees, you can just open the door and let the dog out. So yes, that's a very, I need to add that to my list of benefits. But yes, it's very important that you can certainly have a dog or a cat or a bird or whatever else come and live with you in a garden loft.
That's great. Thanks so much, John. The timing of the presentation was a very engaging presentation. Your timing was perfect. We're just wrapping up in the final minute. Thank you so very much. Do you want to just, for folks who might be joining by phone, provide that contact information again?
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. The easiest thing to do is to just Google Garden Loft, all one word, GARDENLOFT. Remember it by it's a loft because it's got nice high ceilings and lots of light located in a garden. So it's a garden loft, and that will take you to our website, and it's easy from there to find contact information, to request a brochure, to watch our videos, and to contact me, John Brown. My email address is info@gardenloft.ca, but you can just find that on the website.
Great, thanks so much, John. We're going to wrap things up, and thank you. And John's volunteered his time today, so we're very appreciative of that. We will be sending out feedback surveys to everybody once the forum has closed, people that we can contact, because we're always looking to make sure that you're getting the information that you need and helping us kind of decide how to move forward. So what I'm going to do right away is an awkward little shift where I'm going to share my screen so that people who are joining us for the next session know that they're joining the virtual forum. And we'll be back at 11 o'clock. Thanks again, John.
Thank you very much, Nicole. Thank you, everybody. Stay warm and take care.
All right. Bye. Thank